All this time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we ain't got that.
Oh, okay. You just gonna take it out? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now the light just came on, so.
Oh, okay. What you have to, what?
Oh, okay, all right.
Let's see, you got the wiggle the floor. They just, damn, my shit, dated. Didn't they? Yeah, we want, yeah, like. Straight up. Is it working, Brian?
One side is, one side is.
You have to turn them on and off on the red.
Good evening, good evening. I would like to call our regular open session board meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. Madam Secretary, can I have a roll call, please?
Board President Hannah,
Present.
Vice President Taylor,
Present.
Board Secretary Griffin,
Present.
Board Member Buchanan, Board Member Dawson,
Present.
Board Member Morris,
Present.
Board Member Williams-Wolford.
Is absent. Thank you. Moving right along to Pledge of Allegiance. Can we please stand?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation.
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As we move along to moment of silence, I ask that everyone please put your cell phones on silent and or vibrate. Thank you. As we move along, spotlight on success. Dr. R, Ms. O.
Good evening, board members, administration, teachers, staff, and community members. I am so honored today to introduce our spotlight for the evening, which is our artists from the Broadview Village Art Competition. The village members came out and they voted at our art exhibit to choose the students whose artwork will represent our village. And for that, we are so grateful. Our two winners here is Lazaric, who won first place. And Layla, who won second place. For Lazaric as a first place winner, his artwork will be displayed at the Juneteenth t-shirt, the commemorative t-shirts that will be worn at the Juneteenth celebration. His artwork will also be displayed and framed for Lindop School, Broadview's Park District, Broadview's Library, and the Broadview Village. Layla, our second place winner, will have her artwork displayed on the Village City sticker that will be displayed on the vehicles coming up in the new year. As another incentive, which we are very pleased to announce, and they just found out about this today, that Mayor Katrina Thompson was very, very instrumental in making sure that this happened, was that each of the members, each of the first and second place winners will have their art for sale at the Juneteenth celebration those 3 days. And the proceeds from those sales will go back to our students. Lazaric and Layla will be able to earn money for their artwork. So when you are at the Broadview Juneteenth celebration, please pick up artwork. The money will go back to the artists themselves. Without further ado, I will please to introduce Lazaric, followed by Layla, who will talk about how the art meant to them as they was creating it for this esteemed celebration.
Good evening. I am Lyric Williams, the class of 2024 valedictorian and NJHS president. When making my art, I thought of my background from past art pieces. Then I thought of the middle after researching and remembering past Juneteenths. I then thought of the face and people which became the center of my piece. I also thought of little things to complement my centerpiece. The women represents freedom. The instruments represent culture. And all, this to me is what I imagine when envisioning Juneteenth. I am honored to have my artwork chosen to represent the village of Broadview. Thank you, village, for choosing my art to represent you. I am grateful to Mayor Katrina Thompson and the village of Broadview for this high honor.
Good evening, board members. I am Layla Kimbrough, a graduate for class of 2024. The making of my art project was to put together through the thought of music, which is why you see female singers in a glimpse of the words. I chose women singers not only because of the talent, but because of us being casted down for so many years. They are now memorable icons of the music industry. You also see the Juneteenth flag on her dress in the background, which I think identifies as a very important symbol. I probably wouldn't have done this project if it wasn't for Ms. Schweiger and my mother. I made the Juneteenth word colors as well. Black for our skin, red for the bloodshed of our wars, green for the wealth of our motherlands, and gold for our culture. This is all what I incorporated into my art. I want to thank Mayor Katrina Thompson and the Village of Broadview for allowing me and other students to be sponsored for the village. It is an honor to have my artwork chosen. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, board members. I would like to celebrate all of the students, the artists, Lindop artists that have participated in this wonderful Juneteenth art contest. I have certificates that I'd like to present to the students. So please join me in celebrating their dedicated work, their persistent nature, and just all the time that they put in such an event. Lyric Williams. Layla Kimbrough. Rihanna Campbell. Maya Dawson. Melissa Diaz. Zuri Jones. Noelle Lurks. Evie Mascaro. Damian Medal. Hope Okafor. Christopher Robinson. Latrice Smith. Madison Taylor. Sanita Walker. and Kennedy Whitelaw. I would also like to celebrate the students that could not make it this evening. We had a third place winner, Sophia Galvez Soto, Santiago Diaz, Amora Mallard, Mia Mathena, and Brooklyn Wellington. Thank you.
While you all take your pictures, I'll start it off for our board. I'd like to say congratulations to our first and second place winner, was Eric and Lachey. Layla, I'm so sorry, Layla. But you guys did a great job. All of the artists, that art exhibit was amazing. Congratulations to both our second place and all of you guys. Board members, anything you'd like to say, Madam VP? Madam Secretary.
Yes, I also saw a slide presentation of all the work and everything that you had turned in. I was so impressed with it. It was hard to believe that a lot of it was done by students. I have to commend each and every one of you. Great work.
Mr. Morse,
Good job.
Mr. Dawson.
Yeah, great job, everybody. Thank you for being persistent and making this happen for the school.
Good job. Thank you, guys. All right, as we move along to our next one is public comment. Before we start public comment, each of you will have 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 3 minutes only. At that 3 minutes, if you're not done, I'm sorry, but we will stop you. You might have a time at a later portion of this meeting to come back up to discuss whatever you didn't finish, but you guys will have 3 minutes and 3 minutes only. Okay? First, we have Miss Diane Schoenheider. Miss Schoenheider?
Good evening.
Good
Thank you for letting me take a moment to address you all tonight. It was with a heavy heart that I recently notified Dr. Jackson of my resignation. Told myself I wouldn't do this. From District 92, it's been an honor to work in this community with all of its stakeholders. You're gonna really kill me. I want to thank the administration and the school board for steadfastly supporting the pre-K program and shaping it into the superior learning environment that it is. Adding the full day option, as well as supporting my role as coordinator, has allowed this program to grow and flourish, earning us the Award of Excellence for Teaching and Learning, as well as maintaining a gold circle of quality year after year. I have no doubt that the program will continue to thrive with the excellent team that remains in place. As most of you know, I've been union co-president for many years as well. I wanted to recognize the fact that the administration under Dr. Jackson's leadership has been collaborative and included teacher voice in many ways. We're not only a part of the collaborative learning team, but our opinions are recognized and valued. The partnership is so important as we work together to support the students who are entrusted in our care. I want to express that I am not walking away, but walking toward an opportunity and a challenge that will allow me to grow personally and professionally. I'm always here to support as needed, and thank you for an amazing 19 years.
Hold on, wait. We gotta get another.
That was hard.
That's almost.
All right, Ms. Shawn Harder, before you go, on behalf of the board, we'd like to thank you for 19 years of excellence. Thank you for everything that you have done for our pre-K, all of our students that have come through your classroom that has matriculated up from pre-K, kindergarten through 8th grade. Thank you for everything that you have done for these Lindop Tigers. Okay,
Thank you.
Madam VP.
I would be remiss if I didn't say anything. So your other son, Justin, who is not here, he's currently at the University of Wisconsin.
Fantastic.
You got in his nerves, in his head, shook him, cradled him, cried with me through pre-K, and now look what you have done. We are truly blessed to have you as a stakeholder here, as a teacher here. We are not gonna say goodbye. We're gonna say see you later, because we know that you're just arm's length away. And when we become Blue Ribbon, believe me, you will be on the documents. So thank you for everything that you have done for this community. We really appreciate all those 19 years and more coming. You just don't know yet.
Madam Secretary.
Yes, I would like to say that it's truly been a blessing to have her here loving and caring for our students. And that we're gonna miss her, but at the same time, we definitely want you to spread your wings. Have a blessed time on your new job.
Board Member Buchanan.
Thank you for the hug.
Mr. Morris.
Ditto.
Mr. Dawson.
Thank you for your years of service and all the tutelage that you brought to our children. You made a significant difference, and they will remember you.
Thank you, Ms. Shawn Harder. Next, we have Ms. Stormy Irvin Bowden. Ms. Bowden?
Good evening, Lindop Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Jackson, teachers, staff, and community members.
Good evening.
My name is Stormy Irvin Bolden, and I am a parent of a 7th grader. The last 2 weeks have been extremely emotional for my entire family. We have become closer because of it. I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to the Board of Education, superintendent, and any staff that assisted in any way. Because of this incident, my family and I were able to see how a village really does come together and take care of one another. Dr. Jackson called and let me know that the district would like to work alongside the parents to determine how this will look for the summer. On behalf of my entire family, I would like to say thank you to each one of you for looking to get to the root of the issue and not just what appears on the outside. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowden. Next, we have Mr. Jonathan Patterson. Mr. Patterson.
Good afternoon, Board of Education. Thank you guys for allowing me to speak. I just wanted to, I see you guys are already in here going to address the solution that you all came up with this for the 7th grade issue an 8th grade issue that was going on at the school. So I do appreciate you guys quickly responding to that in the board minutes. But I just wanted to bring awareness to, I've been in the education field for about 23 years, and I just noticed that we can't retain staff. I think 2023, we lost about 13 to 14 people, and then now we're losing about 4 or 5 people this year. I feel like that's kind of alarming. You know, people who tend to spend 20 years in one place, it's not common that they move on in education. So I'm wondering if we could institute as a board some type of exit survey so that we can get some type of knowledge of why we're losing staff at the rate that we are. You know, we're always looking for different people to come in. I think that will give us some data and why we're losing people. And maybe we can do something to combat that. You know, and also, you know, I know we've just been, you know, trying to work as hard as we can here and outside to do whatever we can to help. I've had parents that approached and came to me to discuss about, you know, different things and what happened with the seventh grade issue. And, you know, we just want to make sure that, you know, what exactly do the board have planned to make sure something like this don't happen again with the students in seventh grade, eighth grade with substance abuse and bringing, you know, things like that. We want to know from the board, because again, we supported you all, put you guys here, because ultimately you guys are responsible, solely responsible for student achievement more than anybody else. So we'd like to know, or just have something in writing put out to the parents of what you guys plan moving forward to ensure that our children are safe. Because, you know, every other day I'm getting there's police on the premises, there's ambulance on the premises, and it's getting a little scary. You know, I'm at work, I'm getting jittery because I don't know what's going on. And I just want to know if you all are going to put something in play to make sure that I know that my child is safe and all the other children are safe too. You know, because we're just, these calls are happening too often. And I'm just, you know, concerned to see, you know, if there's anything. A lot of good things came up in PTA. Mr. Woody came to the PTA meeting, and we thank you. So he heard some of the other parents and not just myself speaking about how we could help. How can we volunteer to come up and maybe do, some parents suggested some searches or just do anything that we could do, man a door or do something so that we can help, you know, the parents, so we can ensure that our children are safe as well. You know, so, you know, it's not just about coming complaining. We also want to put boots on the ground and help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Miss Angela Patterson?
Good afternoon
Good
or
afternoon.
evening. My name is Angela Patterson. I am the PTA president. As you all know, we've had a rocky start, but we are working towards our natural goal of building family, children, activities, and support for our children and staff. We are planning the school year. I thought I was going to have a format to speak on, but I didn't make it, so it's okay. I did bring a copy of our activities for next school year. These are some of the ideas that are out. We'll be working over the summer with whomever attends the PTA meetings and to see what we can solidify and try to do for next school year. I know we have a new 6-week rule, so we'll be way early this time. As you all know, we had a late start. It was hard getting a bank account established. So now that we have all those things done, we are able to move forward. I will leave a copy of this, and I did provide you, President Aaron, with a copy of it. So please make sure everyone gets one.
Sure.
That way, if you have any ideas, anything we can add, anything we could change, we can put it on the agenda to discuss this summer. We did have an increase in attendance. We did have 11 people in attendance with 5 new people that we'll be adding to membership this month, so that's good. Last month, we had 8 people join, so we are making some rapid changes. We have been going around talking to the community about coming in, volunteering, participating in future fundraisers, giving us anything that they can, resources, bodies, money, to help PTA be the great establishment it was as PTSO. So just moving forward, we want to do everything we can. We're working with you all, the staff, and National PTA. Oh, I did provide resources from National PTA due to what happened with the 7th and 8th grade. I did provide a website that they have available for resources and information to provide to your people, individual children, to help them talk about drug and alcohol awareness just in case. So that was just something we tried to do or put out there to assist with whatever's going on. We just hope that we can continue to improve our 65%. Hopefully we can be reversed next year and we can be 65% proficient. And that way we can move in the right direction of being Blue Ribbon certified or Blue Ribbon accepted, and just moving towards a greater picture for Lindop and the parents and board. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but definitely not least, Miss Ebony Jones.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Jackson, staff, and community members. I am Ebony Jones. I'm a fifth grade teacher and co-president of our teachers union. The teachers union and administration work very close together for the success of our students. We are very grateful to have this relationship with administration. I want to ensure you that administration is working very hard to have transparent communication and moving our school forward. Being in this middle role, I get to see different sides, but it's not often that you see district leadership work so closely with your staff. And we are very blessed to have leaders that are working very hard and including teachers' voices. I just want to say thank you for continuing to include us constantly. Thank you for the leadership and all your hard work and dedication.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Okay, next we have upcoming events and correspondence. Madam Secretary, it's your floor.
Thank you. First of all, we have a card from Lee Harris's family and Penny Williams. It says, to Lindop Leadership Team, thank you for the beautiful floral arrangement for Lee Harris. We appreciate you thinking of us and the beautiful arrangement. During our time of loss, God bless you, board members, Lee Harris family and Penny Williams. Wolford. We also have another card from the Lee Harris family. It says, to Lindop Board of Education, thank you for the amazing plant during my time of bereavement. This plant has brought me joy in this time. Thank you again, sincerely, Lee Harris family and Penny Williams Wolford. And we also received a card from Karen Yarbrough's family. It says, we are grateful for your thoughtfulness and support in celebrating the life of our beloved Karen A. Yarbrough. Continued peace and blessings to you, the family of Karen Yarbrough. And that would complete my, oh, excuse me. Actually, we have one more. Oh, no, it was taken out. So we're done.
Thank you. Moving right along to consent agenda. All right. I make a motion that the board approves the regular open session meeting minutes for Tuesday, April 16th, 2024, the regular closed session meeting minutes for Tuesday, April 16th, 2024, the special open session meeting minutes for Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, the special closed session meeting minutes for Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, the Lindop District 92 accounts payable for April 16th, 2024 through May 20th, 2024 in the amount of $244,153.77. The Lindop District 92 activity account reconciliation for April 2024, the Lindop District 92 payroll for April 16th, 2024 through May 20th, 2024 in the amount of $515,634.65. And the second read and adoptions of policies 240, 2260, 265, 4190, 510, 520, 5300, 710, 720, 7180, 270, and 5100. Can I have a second, please?
Cheryl Griffin, I second.
Roll call, please.
Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan,
Yay.
President Hannah,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Morris,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Williams Wolford. Yay.
Thank you. Motion carries. Moving along to old business, update on zero waste program. Mr. Arndt, Mr. Valentine.
Good evening, Board of Education, community and staff. Want to update you on the Zero Waste Program. The Zero Waste Program is a program we have here at the school to eliminate as much waste as we can going to our local landfills. We started this program on May 1st. We partnership with the Village of Broadview and 7 Generations. On the screen now is a one-page flyer that 7 Generations created for us on their visit. They stayed here on May 1st, the entire lunch period, and observed the program. They was very impressed to see our setup. The one-page letter will be shared with the Village of Broadview and also the Village Press. Here's some pictures of the students working inside the cafeteria, separating all the recyclable materials. Also, so as of today, we have collected over 740 pounds of compost weight and 89 pounds of recyclable weight. That's 829 pounds of waste that was not going to our local landfills. And I also want to mention here that we're also starting a new program this summer. We're going to be in partnership with Staples Centers, and we're going to be collecting used crayons, and Staples going to recycle them and donate them to the local hospitals for children. Again, here's some more pictures of the staff and the students separating all the materials inside the cafeteria. The lunch staff and the students did a great job. We put together an environmental team that consists of the 4th and 5th grade students. They come down to the cafeteria during the lunch period and help the other students separate all the material, and they're doing an awesome job with it. We also had a short video that we want to share with you guys that came from 7 generations about how impressed they was to see how we are working with the students.
So just before the video begins, I'd like to just address the community staff and my Board of Education. So the Zero Waste Program was a humongous program, but we knew that it was worth it. I do want to tell you that the team went right in because we really didn't know what to expect or how this might work. We had heard some horror stories of how it was not working in different lunchrooms. I do believe that we had a meeting also where Mrs. Patterson as well as maybe Mrs. Lindsay was with her when we met. Was that Mrs. Lindsay? Yeah, okay, so Mrs. Lindsay was there as well, but just talking about how we can continue to partner and have maybe some parents to come in. So once we get that rolling, I think we'll be amazing. But just to hear from Becky Brodsky, who is from 7 generations, and knowing that this was not an easy task, just lets us know that we're moving in the right direction. And so, team, I just want to thank you. I want to say stay encouraged and that we are moving in the right direction. And so if you would play that video now for everyone, that would be great.
Can you please explain to our lovely principal what you told us about our lovely setup?
Yes, you guys, Lindop Elementary is the most prepared school that we have ever worked with. Best prepared for launch day, for sorting their share table items, recycling, landfill, and compost.
Thank
We are
you.
so excited to be working with you guys.
Thank you,
And the
thank
kitchen
you.
has been awesome too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so this is what she's talking about. We are the most prepared school.
45.
So this is what she's talking about in terms of how we've set everything up. So we are the most prepared school. Congratulations, Lindop.
Any questions on a Zero Waste Program?
No questions, but good job, Mr. Valentine, Mr. Arndt, and your whole team that's working on this waste program. Excellent job. Okay, as we move along, Dr. Jackson, Dr. Bex recommend approval for the 24-25 calendar as presented.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, community members, staff members, Board of Education, and any teachers who are here. And so the Board of Education has directed us every year to make sure, because of the siblings that attend Proviso East and PMSA, to make sure that we have that same spring break so that it would not become a potential barrier for our parents. And so as you see, we have done that. We waited from the last, thank you. So we waited from the last meeting. We had the calendar already prepared, but we did need a little bit more data to talk about the early dismissals, because that had also been a conversation that was, we also talked about that the day that Mrs. Patterson and Ms. Lindsay was there. So we talked about the compost waste as well as the early dismissal. And so now we have the final results. And Dr. Betts, if you would just share those.
Good evening, Board of Education, administration, and staff. And so we just want to talk about some of the themes that surfaced when we asked our families about the early dismissals. So on this screen, you see a breakdown of the top 2 benefits of early dismissals, which are reduced teacher burnout and flexibility for families. So merging what our staff are saying with what our families are saying. And then I want to talk about what the conflicts were. So we had about 34% of our families say that they had some conflicts with work with the early dismissals. And so we did proceed to ask them some other questions, but some of the themes that surfaced in comments over the course of this questionnaire included things like we have extra time to spend with our children, we can eat dinner together, there's extra time for homework. Someone said their kids really like being out of school on Wednesdays and having that extra couple of hours to just kind of slow down. Then on the flip side of that, there were some comments about just trying to organize and schedule, which we did ask families how they did that, and I'll show you that in just a moment. On this slide, we asked our families how they feel about the day of the week. We currently do our early dismissal on Wednesdays because Wednesdays are the days that we have the most staff present. Everybody in the building is involved in something during the early dismissals. So even if you're a teacher, a para, whatever your role is, you are in a meeting working on something during the early dismissals. So 35.9% of families said they were neutral towards the day of the week, and 25% said they were very satisfied with the day of the week. So then when we look at the next question, we asked our families if they would prefer to keep the early dismissals as an early dismissal or if they would prefer a late start as an alternative. So coming later in the morning. And we had a significant amount of families say, and it was 74.3%, that they would like to keep the early dismissal at 2 p.m. And so then knowing that, we wanted to ask our families about how they organize around that early dismissal schedule. So knowing that it's every Wednesday at 2 p.m., what is it that they do? 74% of our families say that their child is picked up by a parent or guardian. And then beyond that, you kind of have some even pie slices there, but we have some family members picking up children who are not parents or guardians. We have daycare providers, and then we do have some walkers and some people who fall into the other category that have other arrangements for their time after school. Again, we asked for comments. Yes, there are some people who are trying to maneuver around their work schedule, but they basically are saying we have a plan in place and we're doing the same thing every week and we're figuring it out because we know that it's every Wednesday. So then we go on and we have all those comments, so the same themes, but we did also note to families that our park district has a program where they can do an open gym at 2 p.m. for the early dismissals. And so we did ask our families if they would take advantage of that if given the opportunity. And 36% said maybe, and 28% said yes. And so we would like to continue with these early dismissals next year. Again, Wednesday's the day that we have the most staff on campus in order to capture the most learning. And the purpose behind that is that it trickles down to the students. And it has to do directly with student achievement. And so staff has said that it's been extremely beneficial for them. Are there any questions?
Looks like there are none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you go back to the motion because they have not voted on the calendar? Thank you so much, Mr. Elliskew.
Board Member Tanya Taylor, I recommend approval of the 2024-2025 calendar as presented.
A second, Hannah. Roll call, please.
Board Member Williams-Wolford. Vice President Taylor.
Yay.
Board Member Morris.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson.
Yay.
President Hannah.
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan.
Yay.
Secretary Griffin.
Yay.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next update. Nope, sorry. Presentation of state of the district, the data. Principal O, Dr. R, Dr. Betts, and Ms. Kiefer.
Good evening, board members, community members, teachers and staff. Thank you so much for being here. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the after-school program. So we had two different programs. We had homework help as well as the Freedom School after-school program. Homework help was students were selected based on teacher recommendation, parents requesting it, as well as looking at the data. So this is a place where students came to do their homework each and every day. So that was, each and every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then we have Freedom School after school, and this was our bubble students, those students that were just on the cusp and they needed more push. So we had 35 students attending Freedom School after school program. When it comes to the Freedom School after school program, there were different things that we looked at in terms of grade levels. So for kindergarten, we looked at text comprehension. For grade 1, we looked at knowledge of language and conventions. For grades 2 through 6, we looked at everything, which was comprehension, written expression, knowledge of language and conventions. So when it comes to kindergarten, this is our rubric, and this is what we focused on in terms of the pre-test and post-test. So we looked at full comprehension, demonstration was accurate, all the way to does not demonstrate. So here is our data in terms of the pre-test as well as the post-test for our students. Some of the things that hindered some of our students was not being here. So inconsistency with attendance was one of the things. However, the Freedom School teachers were calling the parents as well as I calling the parents to make sure that their child was in attendance, as well as we had some students that started later in the program, so they weren't there at the beginning of the program. So here's our rubric for grade 1. So again, grade 1 is comprehension and written expression. So it goes from full command of language, minor errors, all the way to does not demonstrate. And what this includes in terms of language conventions, it's not just periods and making sure it's uppercase letters. It's actually like, how do you write a letter? So having your salutation in a letter, how does a letter look? So it's things like that that the students were working on in grade 1. So again, here is our data. So if you look, some of the students do not have a pretest. You don't see the blue, and that's because they scored a 0. So that's why you don't see anything for some of the students in terms of pre-score, like if you look at student number 1. Again, a lot of the children in terms of like student number 2, you see that they didn't grow, but that was inconsistency with attendance because we are in partnership and all of us need to work together in order to make our students grow. So they have to be here in order for that to happen. All right, looking at grades 2 through 3. So this is again the rubric for grades 2 through 3. And here is our data for students in grades 2 through 3. So again, we talked about the attendance was the main thing, but if you look at student number 11, for instance, they came in, they scored a 0, and then at the end, they scored the highest. So it works if they are here. And so we have to have that commitment together, working together with the parents to make sure that their students are here. And here's the rubric for grades 4 through 6. So this is everything that we were looking at. So again, you can see the data here. And you can see the last student, how much they've grown. So all the students grew and or stayed the same. Thank you. So we did ask questions in terms of Freedom School after school program. And then you can see there in terms of confidence, speaking and advocacy, as well as social emotional development. So one student wrote in terms of confidence, I love attending Freedom School as it made me feel empowered and confident. It helped me become more self-aware, build my character, and feel secure. During my time at Freedom School, we participated in various activities such as skits, raps, and songs based on the stories we read. These activities helped me step out of my comfort zone and become more lively and social with others.
So that's in terms of confidence. Another student in terms of speaking and advocacy. I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to experience Freedom School. Freedom School has helped me come out of my shell, and now I am stronger than ever as I learn how to proceed in the future. It gave me courage to show the world who I am. I am not going to let anyone stop my growth. And lastly, social emotional development. Freedom School played a vital role in my personal development by enhancing my self-awareness and assisting me in building a strong personality. I learned how to value and love myself while attending Freedom School. Additionally, I discovered the importance of having trustworthy friends who can be supportive and helpful. This experience taught me to have faith in people and to avoid being rude or unkind to anyone. So that was some of the things that the students said. All right, when it comes to my parent meetings, I'm still doing my parent meetings. Right now, you can see that I'm in grade 3 and I've done half of grade 3. I'm gonna continue to do my parent meetings all the way until the end of June. And then what I'm doing this year is I'm gonna start in August rather than waiting, because hopefully Illinois gives us all of our data in terms of the Illinois assessment for readiness. So I'll be able to start August 1st, letting the eighth grade parents know exactly how their students are doing in terms of the data. Right.
Good evening, board, community, staff, and administration. So I'm here to present the residency information in regards to waiving non-resident tuition for staff or employees. And so we've brought this to the table a couple of times. The first, we did 2 surveys. The first survey went out to the community via mail, US mail, and then we had a response of 46 people, and of that, about 63% stated no, that they do not, they would not like for staff members to have non-resident tuition waived. Some of the trends that came with those comments were, or some of the property taxes, as well as if those students may have special needs where they would need to be supported outside of Lindop in a private placement or with our cooperative. On the other side, for the people who said yes, they were saying the convenience for the teachers, that it would be good for those staff members. We did have to do a second survey, and that was because there was some type of glitch within the mailing system. And so our men of distinction did go door to door and hand out the survey to each person in the community, and they were able to complete this survey. There were 22 responses, and out of that, we did still have majority no with the same trends. Any questions?
Item VP.
Good evening. Okay, so from the data that you guys shared, I'm really happy because I did not realize this. So when you mentioned the homework helpline and Freedom School, I'm proud to know that there was over 40% of our students taking advantage of that program. So kudos to you guys, shouts out to you. Also looking at the data, just of the commitment of reaching out to our parents, Ms. O, you're right at 60%. That's really good, having a one-on-one conversation and feedback with our parents. So bridging the gap between the school and the community is definitely there. So I just want to commend you guys. Keep up the great work. Great job.
I ditto the exact same thing. Principal O, great job. Admin team, thank you for everything that you guys are doing and have done this entire school year. Thank you. Okay. Moving along to new business, we have the presentation of Making It Happen. Mr. Darren Hills and Miss Green. Let's make it happen.
Thank you, President Aaron. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Jackson, esteemed board, teachers, as well as our community members. Thank you all for the opportunity not only to be here tonight to present before you, but also thank you for just the opportunity to have worked with the staff and the community and the parents and students during some of the past events. You know, we're looking at some of the things. I was just thinking about Ms. Schonheimer, you know, just looking back on some of the things that, 19 years. I mean, that's something that's definitely truly needs to be applauded, and we thank her for it, and we know that she's going to do great things. But before I do that one, I just want to read a couple of things. It takes a village to raise a child is an African proverb that means an entire community of people must interact with children for those children to grow in a safe and healthy environment. And I think that Lindop, over the years and also moving forward, is truly displays the epitome of that. So definitely good kudos to you all, and we thank you for that. And then the other item is, I know that just, you know, as we are growing through the year, I want to touch on something as well. What is restorative justice? Restorative justice refers to an approach of justice that seeks to the repair harm by providing an opportunity for those harmed and those who take responsibility for the harm to communicate about and address their needs in the aftermath of a crime or situation. I think as we continue to maneuver through the growth of our young people, we are always going to have opportunities where restorative justice needs to be practiced, whether it's on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. But it has to be something where instead of condemning the young people, we have to continue to build them up because they don't know yet. I can remember being at a certain age where I just knew everything and didn't know anything. So I just applaud the Lindop community for continuing to pour into our young people, and then more importantly to the families and the community. So that's definitely something I want to touch on. But with that being said, I just want to kind of provide a brief recap on some of the things that we've been working on as far as, you know, just making sure that our young people are in position to be the best version of themselves. I can remember working with Ms. Green. We were having conversations with Dr. Jackson in regard and team, Dr. Betts and everyone, to make sure that we are preparing these young people for the PSATs. It was a select group of young people that we work with. We did a couple of workshops on that one. There was opportunity not only to provide them the support that they needed, but more importantly, to identify the areas that we can truly support them in. Whether it was just kind of touching on the SEL component, understanding where they are, gathering detail and insight on how we can truly help everyone. We know that there's no one true solution, but we have to make sure that it's comprehensive for all that are involved. So that's something that we worked on. And then also making calls to parents to see what are the needs in regards to making sure when we are sending out surveys for participation in Juneteenth, making sure that if there's anything that they need assistance with, just more or less looking toward making sure that they are, you know, as much as possible without being offensive, that they're involved and making sure that they are part of the solution, making and moving everything forward. So with that being said, I'd like to just kind of provide an overview of something that we've been working on as Lindop Summer Immersion and the Fall Kickoff Program. And again, our pillars of success will always be the same every time. Youth development. We want to make sure that our young people are poured into, that we grow them in every way possible, and that it's just not a one-time thing. You know, with young people, with anything, we have to make sure that the consistency stays in place. Parent engagement, you know, goes back to that piece where, you know, not only does it takes a community, but it takes a household. And also I know that there's support that's needed within the different households because every situation is different. But it's not unique, you know, while there are some instances where you might have something that might not be the same, but I guarantee with all the wealth of knowledge and experience that's within these different schools and within this room, we know that there's someone that can be a resource to help out everybody. And again, community care, it takes that village. You know, my daughter just graduated from college last week, and I know we didn't do it by ourselves, but we are the face of the organization. So we definitely will take kudos for that. But we know that there's more than just us to make sure that everybody do that. So again, those will continue to be our pillars to success. And again, that's the Make It Happen team. Ms. Green, she's our community liaison. She has connections and contacts with different organizations that we can make sure that we can provide resources to families, as well as Maya Wilkins. She's not only a Lindop alum, graduate of UIC, but she has her tutoring organization. So she was definitely played a pivotal role in making sure that the young people had the opportunity to study for the PSAT, get the support that they need. And we want to not just make sure that we touch bases with those young people. We have to track them all the way through. While they're finishing up 8th grade, we need to ensure that they're able to, we check in on them at the high school level. And when they continue their education beyond that. So it's not just a one-time hit, hey, we just want to help you while you're pursuing your education at the 8th grade level. We need to make sure that we track these young people. And I feel what that'll do is, at the end of the day, bring it back to the Broadview community, and more importantly, Lindop, to say, hey, you know what? That's a product and alum of Lindop. Look what they've grown into. With the summer immersion program, one of the things that we definitely want to play a huge focus on, what is the benefit of it? So that's one of the things we wanted to make sure that we were taking a look at what's the why behind it. We want to make sure that the scholars will be able to participate in different enrichment programs and social resources throughout the summer. We can tell that how students, when they come back from just a extended weekend, from a holiday, we want to make sure that by the time they get back to the school year, that there's the least amount of gap of time for them to be able to be the best version of themselves. So I feel that if we continue to provide the opportunity for them to be in position to get that continued support, it'll make it easier when they come back for the fall. And by participating in those programs, they'll be able to advance and have the opportunities for those skills of those individuals to apply that. So as they apply it, they'll be able to say, hey, you know what? It might not have stuck right then and there, but at the end of the day, I know that I was poured into and that information got to me by Lindop. And also broaden their knowledge. You know, one thing that I've learned over the years, appreciate that, Brother Greg. Thank you so much. Got a little warm up here. But just, broaden their engagement. You know, I was also taught a long time ago, a mind stretched by a great idea would never be the same. So as we continue to provide resources and experiences for our young people, again, we'll know that they'll be in position to be the best version of themselves. And I have to continue to keep repeating best version of themselves, because our young people, while they're in front of us, they're going to be the best. But it's more important what takes place when you leave the house, what takes place when you get off the block. Can your integrity stay intact from the time that you leave home and time you make it back home? My son, I'll talk to him every time. I said, son, what's the goal? The goal is to make sure we get back home every day. And it's not just a routine. It takes a lot to get out there, produce, and be the best version of yourself to come back home. So that's something that we talk about daily. And also learn with the support of collective resources. Again, back to the village statement. We have to ensure that these young people know that they're not only being watched, but they're being critiqued and catered to make sure that they can grow and develop in all aspects of their lives. So what would the programming offer? We have a partnership with Triton College for Kids. That's an opportunity for young people to get in there and take 3 weeks worth of college courses. Get that experience early, get it early. Thank you. We partner with also Ivana Miles with the cosmetology. I know that when I was in school, we also had vocational training where you could learn a trade while you were getting your high school diploma. So by the time that you were out of middle school and high school, you can just go right into a career that you might have identified by that experience that you have had in high school. Acting classes, we have a lot of diverse learners. We have young people in the day and age that their career is YouTubing. Who would have thought about, being on the computer, being a influencer in any capacity, that they could have pay bills, and purchase things. So with that being said, we partner with Isaac Keys from the Power Drama series. If everybody's familiar with that, Diamond, he's a barber by day and he does other things by evening. But again, he's a talented actor, and opportunity for some young students to be with him as he's actually recording, filming, as well as studying for the different roles that he participates in. So that'll be opportunity for a select group of students. Etiquette classes. I remember taking etiquette classes growing up, and at the end of the day, we have to know how to act when we get to different spaces. Those etiquette training comes in so many different capacities, whether it's just everyday manners, whether it's conduct during a business meeting, just understanding the reasons why you have to understand how to carry yourself in different capacities. Lindop Middle School kickoff. We have a new group of young people, the fifth graders going into middle school. We have to make sure that they're prepared. Understand that you're going to be changing classes nowadays. Understand you have to learn your locker. You only get a few minutes to change your classes. It's nothing that, something when you've been through it, you take it for granted. It's like, okay, just go to your class. But guess what? You have to make sure you know where you're going, what time you have to be there. And a lot of times we know if you're on time, you're late. So again, we're going to make sure that they have a opportunity to get through that. As also, again, I think that the high school fair that took place last year was a success. And I know that not only what we provide here at Lindop, we could be the epicenter for the entire Proviso Township. We can create opportunities for those families that might not want to go to the local education opportunities to look elsewhere. And not only just look at those opportunities, but be in position to get some financial assistance. So those are the things that we're truly working on, making sure that those partnerships are in place, but more importantly, to make sure that the parents and families truly understand that we are here to help. I'll just kind of highlight on some of the kids summer program. They have the College for Kids. They have the opportunity to select the field. So they're actually going to go from the standpoint of what we would do in college. You go through, you select your classes, you meet with counselors. They'll have a 3-week run on that when you have the med school opportunity, the overview of College for Kids, what's the impact on that one, and also hear from professionals within the field. So again, at the end of the day, this is an opportunity that's out there. They have the capacity of 70 to 80 students. And the only thing we have to make sure is that they get there, whether it's parent or however we want to identify that. And the cost is free. They're going to have the tuition is covered as well as they're going to be provided lunch. So we've shared that information as well. So hopefully we get more activity. Again, it goes back to making sure that we don't have a drop off in things that we're pouring into our young people. It just makes the work easier. Miss Savannah Miles, she's a Broadview resident as well. At one point, she no longer lived here, but again, it's beautiful to see these opportunities for the individuals that have grown through the years and they come back home and want to be able to help out and take care of home. We know that there's a lot of young people out here that are becoming entrepreneurs early, real early. I'm talking about where they're 15 and 16, they're staying up at night. Hopefully they're doing homework as well as working whatever craft they have, and they're able to create some income. But more importantly, they're able to learn about financial management, whether they're kind of going by the fly, doing it on their own, but also just understanding, hey, whatever comes in, if it's not allocated to certain resources, either I'm going to waste it or pour it back into my business. So right now she currently has a contract and she's working with the students of Collins High School. And the goal is to make sure that we provide that opportunity for our Lindop Tigers as well. And just again, the overview of the acting opportunities. I know that young people, while they have these different personalities, but acting is something that's truly a skill and an art. And we see sometimes personalities come about to where they'll turn it on and off. So let's hone that skill. Let's make sure that you can benefit from that. And ultimately, the opportunity to network and see so many different people and so many different capacities that come along within the acting field. And again, we want to introduce it to them early. One of the many things that I'm super excited about is the Lindop Middle School kickoff. Again, we have the opportunity not only to continue to create greatness, but also duplicate success. And what I mean by that is let's get these fifth graders acclimated to the environment. Let's let the parents know, hey, this is what's going on. So when your child possibly comes home and says, hey, you know what, I didn't get enough time. Yes, you did. We know that, or what did you not do? So again, but then also we want to make sure that it's fun and engaging. This is an opportunity to come in, get that school spirit. I'm sure that those young people that are at that particular age, I'm going to middle school. And that's a big deal. As we're growing through it, that's a huge deal. So we want to make sure that they're acclimated to that, get the parents involved, the teachers involved, and just have it from a standpoint of they know exactly what's going on when that opportunity comes about. So when school starts, they'll be ready. Those etiquette classes, those are opportunities for the different capacities of the social etiquette, how to act when you're in a social setting, communication, having them express themselves a little bit more than that they would everybody speaking in emoji. Understand how to talk. Navigating etiquette in the digital age. We know that social media, these devices that we have, they're powerful tools, but you know what? Let's make sure that you understand how to use it so that you don't trap yourself or get trapped. Dining etiquette. I know there are times when I sit at home and I kind of forget my dining etiquette, but it's something that definitely needs to be reminded. And if they can catch it early, we pour that into them. It just makes them just better along the way. And then they'll also be able to have opportunity to see it on both ends, whether they are providing a great etiquette representation or they're receiving not so well. So again, you know, those scholars, as they participate in that, they're receiving certification. And right now it's open to 10 students. So we want to make sure that we have those opportunities, and parents and families are looking to that as well. That open house, I know that the high school fair, again, I spoke on that once before. We want to make sure that when that's a huge decision, because ultimately, whether it's going to be college or whatever trade or whatever certification that you go into, we want to make sure that you're planted in the right space from a high school standpoint. A lot of times it's academics. We know we look at the different academia, but also it's the environment. We saw some of the things that took place during the pandemic, some of the things that our young people lost, but they also gained as well. But we want to make sure that as their families are going through it, they're making the best decisions for them overall. And again, we want to make sure that we're part of that solution. We have a wealth of community partners that we can partner with in a lot of different capacities, whether it's mental, social, emotional, physical. We have those different capacities to be able to partner with a lot of great organizations to help us out and make sure that those young people are striving for greatness. Any questions? I know I did a lot of talking.
Madam VP.
Mr. Hill, I just want to say thank you. I commend you for your efforts, you and your team. It was exciting to see that we're going to offer additional 6 programs over this summer to our scholars, free of charge. The only ask that I ask of the admin team is to make sure that we send a package out home to each kid so the parents cannot say that they were not aware. I do understand that in the time of summer coming, you know, let's get our students involved. These are some great opportunities. Just think your kid can go to Triton for free and take some medical classes, or your kids can take a braid camp class to learn how to braid hair. That's exciting for our young girls. So I am very excited about this. And I commend you and your staff and also the Lindop team for making sure that this is going to happen. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Hill, thank you.
Thank you so
for
much.
everything
Appreciate
you
the
do.
time.
Yes, sir. Okay. Next, we have the update and this discussion on National School Lunch Program bid process. Mr. Arndt?
Yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, community members and staff. As you might remember from last month, we talked about the history of this program. To my knowledge, I believe that the last time the board went through this process of bidding out the lunch program was 2017. That process allowed you to work with the same company for 4 years. And then after that, there were 2 COVID extensions, which have now been exhausted. So now we're at the point where in order to continue to be a participant in the program, we absolutely have to bid this out. We are in the middle of that process as we speak. We've followed the guidance and the structure provided by the Illinois State Board of Education. And that included initially distributing our invitation for bid to ISB's list of known service providers on May 9th. The following week, I believe Monday the 13th, was when we published the first notice in the Chicago Sun-Times. That notice is the one that will be what's kind of legally binding for us to follow the process under the State Board of Education. We also wanted to make sure that we published in the local papers, the Village Free Press and the LaGrange Suburban Life. We did that on May 15th and 16th to make sure that any local service providers were aware of the opportunity. Tomorrow, we've invited any bidders to come in to a mandatory pre-bid meeting here in the cafeteria tomorrow. I think it's 2 or 2:30 p.m. after the students get out. They'll be able to see the facilities, take pictures of the facilities. They may be able to ask some questions, but really most questions will be due by May 29th. At that time, we'll compile answers, provide them I believe within about a week, we'll provide the answers to the bidders. And at that point, we'll know that the only people who could bid will be anybody that attended the mandatory pre-bid meeting. We'll answer their questions, and then their bids will be due June 26th. We'll review those, and then we will have to come up with the service provider that we feel best fits the criteria and best qualified to handle the service. We have to have that reviewed by the State Board of Education first, and then once they're okay with our rationale, then we'll have the Board of Education approve the recommendation at the July meeting. Our current service provider will be allowed to extend through July to handle summer school and freedom school so that there's no disruption during the summer. And then starting in the fall, we'll know who the next service provider will be. That is all I had on that. Does anybody have any questions?
Go ahead, Ms. Williams.
Do we know if our current provider is going to bid?
They have asked some questions already, and they have exhibited that they are very eager to bid. I think one issue that we have, that is no secret, is that we are a smaller school district. And so it's going to take the company that can accommodate us, that's willing to provide a bid. And I know that Taher, who we work with, is very eager to do that. They'd love to continue working with us, but we can't simply hand the contract over to them. So we have to go through this process.
And then we also wanted to make sure that whatever the company was, that they would be able to offer scratch cooking.
Correct.
We've come from maybe about 10 years ago where we had the company that came and they had everything that was prepackaged and you just warmed it up and done that. But now what we've done is allowed our children to experience that scratch cooking and also be inclusive in with the meals that are being served to them daily, on a daily basis. So scratch cooking is something that is going to be preferred. I just wanted to say that because all companies that bid do not offer scratch cooking.
Correct.
Yep.
Was that included in publication?
Yes. Okay. The invitation for bid, I believe, was about 90 pages before we had to include the history of our claims to the State Board of Ed. And so it is very detailed, and that is part of the requirement for anybody bidding.
Board President, since the meeting is tomorrow, for the pre-bid and only people can bid are the ones that's coming to the meeting tomorrow, is it possible for us to get an update in the Friday report? Like who came out, so we can just know potentially how many vendors may be bidding?
Works for me. Madam Secretary, works for you? Thank you. John?
Yeah,
Thank
that'll
you.
work.
All right. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, update on the update and discussion on Freedom School Day at the Capitol. Dr. Jackson, Board Secretary Griffin, and Madam Vice, Ms. Taylor.
Yeah, so we had the opportunity to participate in Freedom Day at the Capitol, and this was on May 8th. We took a bus load of us down and we went and had the honor to be able to speak in front of Speaker Welch, but to also be able to allow the children talk about just how important Freedom School is and how it has impacted them. It was funny because I can't remember if it was Kobe or Jacoby, but one of them said, "Are you going to pass the bill so we could get more money? Are you going to make sure that it's still funded?" Right? And so the speaker said, "I can't commit to anything now, but we are looking very intently in that." And if you see them there, we had 3 of the students, we had some teachers, but we also had our board. So I defer to the 2 of you who travel with us now.
This is Board Secretary Cheryl Griffin. It was amazing time. It was an amazing time for us. Even the ride down there gave us a chance to get closer to one another. And once we got there, it was like nonstop learning for us and the children. To me, it's something that I would definitely like to do again. And I did appreciate us being allowed to go.
I share the same sentiments, Tanya Taylor. There was a lot on the Capitol level that I truly did not understand how the bills go through the Senate and all this and that. I don't remember that stuff from middle school, but it was very enlightening. It gave us the opportunity not only to get an understanding of what happens when the bills come across the desk, but also just the look of our students, how proud they were to be a Lindop student. They were on their best behavior as always, but they got an opportunity to really understand. We actually had to bleep out some of the conversations because they did approach and state, are we gonna get more money? So that was a really fun thing. And then also just being there with our staff, it also gave us as board members, no one had the title that day. We were just all Lindop. And the goal was Freedom School. So we had a good time. We championed that we wanted Freedom School to continue, and it was just an amazing time. So thank you guys for allowing us to go.
Thank you. Anything else? Anything else on that? Or that's all right.
Okay.
Moving right along. I need a motion to approve the 24 Freedom Summer School program to be held at Lindop for grade 5 through 8.
Cheryl Griffin, I make a motion that the board approve the 2024 Freedom School program to be held at Lindop for grades 5th through 8th, totaling $106,080 for 6 SLI, $45 per hour, for a total of $56,160. 6th JSLI, $40 per person, $40 per hour, $49,920 to be paid through the Community Partnership Grant. Can I get a second?
A second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan,
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Morris, Board Member Williams-Wolford,
Yay.
President Hannah.
Yeah. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, I need a motion.
Do we do the presentation?
There is no presentation.
We had it last month, so now we're just coming with a
Okay.
recommendation. Thank you.
All right,
I make a motion that the board approve the 2024 summer school end of the school year program not to exceed 50 students, grades K, kindergarten through 7th, 7 teachers at $45 an hour, totaling $28,350, and 2 paraprofessionals at $40 per hour, totaling $7,200, for an estimated total of $35,550, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., commencing Monday, June 3rd, 2024 through Thursday, June 24th, 2024, to be paid through the educational fund.
I second that. Roll call, please. Hold on.
I have a quick question, Board Member Tanya Taylor. Not a question, but just a statement. Maybe some of the programs that we're having over the summer, maybe we can think about having something start right after Freedom School, so those students don't have such a big gap in their summertime day. That's just a food for thought.
So Freedom School goes until July 24th. And so they will have like probably about 2 weeks out, but we will make sure that something is offered or to see if anything is available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Secretary Griffin,
Yay.
Board Member Williams-Wolford,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan,
Yay.
President Hannah,
Yeah.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Board Member Morris.
Yay.
Motion carries.
Tanya Taylor, I make a recommended approval to purchase 44 iPads with a 4-year of Apple Care insurance, 44 out-of-box cases, and 1 cart at a total cost of $22,862, with 22,800 being paid through the elementary and secondary relief digital equity formula.
I second it, Hannah. Ms. Alice,
Yes, but just to go by, I received a phone call from the Illinois State Board of Education saying that Lindop has some access to some additional funds. And if we could use them, we were certainly welcome to. So the team jumped right on it, went and completed the digital grant, the sheets that they had to do for the Illinois State Board of Education, talked to Mr. Ellisview and said, are you going to be able to spend this? Can we use it for anything? And I will let Mr. Ellisview tell you what we are going to be using that money for.
Good evening, Board of Education, community members, staff, guests, teachers. So we're looking at using this money, the digital equity formula, to update iPads for art animation, library research databases, and online Booksmart library access. So about this grant, it's an extension of the ESSER Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Grant, focused on digital tools that establish access to instructional technology in schools, and is currently approved for use for Lindop School. So this is a breakdown of what we'd be purchasing with the grant. 44 iPads, insurance for 4 years of Apple Care, that covers it's broken. iPad carts, we need one of those to store them in. And then out-of-box cases, which do a very good job at protecting our iPads. And the total is 22,863. So we'd be responsible for $63.32. Any questions?
No, not at all. No questions.
Great.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, please.
Board Member Buchanan,
Yay.
Board President Hannah.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson,
Yay.
Vice President Taylor,
Yay.
Board Member Morris, Board Member Williams-Wolford. And Board Secretary Griffin.
Yay.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Discussion on PTA. Board Member Buchanan.
Hello, everybody. Just had a couple of questions. And if you know me, I like to ask questions. So for the PTA, I just want to ask, like, who holds the legal responsibility to make the decisions about school policies? You know, one of my other questions is, are PTA representatives allowed to make commitments on behalf of the group they represent? So this me talking to the board and talking to the president. I just need to be educated on the PTA so I know more about it. I don't want to take too much time. I don't want to go back and forth, but I just need to be educated on everything.
I'm sorry, could you speak in the mic so I can hear the question fully? I think you said who holds the legal responsibility to make decisions for PTA? Is that what you said?
Yes.
And what was the second question?
Are PTA representatives allowed to make commitments on behalf of the group they represent? I got a lot of questions to ask, so I don't even know if this is the right time to ask because there's so many of them. I just need to be educated. I will be at the next meeting you guys have, but I just want to be educated on everything PTA.
Oh.
And I'm due for any questions. You know, I don't want to do it right now, but I'm due for any questions. After that.
Can I just?
Wait.
This is a discussion
We
with
will
the
not-
board and
wait.
between the Board of
Dr. Jackson.
Education.
Mr. Patterson, we will not do that in this forum. Dr. Jackson, what I'm saying, you will not do that in our meeting, sir. What I'm asking you is not to do that in this public forum. So he can ask the question to the PTA president. That's what she's standing there for. Mr. Patterson.
Hey,
Mr. Patterson.
you can talk to me. Okay, we can talk afterwards then. Okay,
Thank you.
In the discussion.
This is done. Done. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Patterson. Thank you, Ms. Robinson.
Board President, can I ask for clarity?
Please.
I'm sorry, Just a reminder of our board policy and procedures. Those questions should have been submitted to Dr. Jackson by noon yesterday. That would have given her staff adequate time to research and prepare any questions that may come up. And so then therefore, we would have been fully prepared.
I was just gonna say that I appreciate the questions and that if you give me an opportunity, I'll make sure that I'll come back with some answers for your questions. We'll look at our bylaws. I'll talk to our executive and make sure that all questions are answered. I appreciate the questions. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. No
So
problem.
this was supposed to be just a discussion between the board, just so everyone knows. It was just a discussion between the board. It was not.
Okay.
Go ahead, Madam President.
I'm the president,
Go ahead.
the PTA president. I will be happy to answer any questions that are submitted in advance, as Penny stated, so that we can get the required answers. I do not have a problem with any questions that come up. I just didn't even know I was on the agenda. I thought I was on the agenda to speak as a PTA representative today. I didn't know there were any discussion questions that were going to be presented. So therefore, I'm not fully prepared either, but I will be happy to answer any questions. We don't have to have any anger, any aggression. We're going in a positive direction. And I don't want anyone welcoming my husband outside for anything unnecessary. This is all supposed to be for the kids. And I just want to stay focused on what our goal is. No, I do not make commitments for anything on behalf, I'm just answering. I do not make commitments on behalf of PTA for anything. Everything that I submitted to you on the list are ideas, possible things we can do for next school year. So just to answer that question, but the bylaws question, I would just need more information. And please provide your list of questions and I'll be happy to answer them. As you know, we got a late start. Our account was open late because the correct information was provided. So we are not fully prepared. We didn't know we were on the agenda for tonight.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you.
President. Thank you.
And let me just say this real quick before you leave.
No, I'm sorry. I love you, Greg, and I respect you very much, but that's not the forum for this. And I don't want anything negative. Please, let's
It's not
talk.
gonna be negative. I'm just gonna speak.
But
You don't have to listen, but I'm gonna speak.
we're out of order though,
Okay.
right, Mr. President?
Yes.
So I just want to stay on track.
Or we can-
I'll even come by. Let's talk. I'm more than happy to do it, but this isn't the correct forum as we were told before, and as I'm following as well.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Recommend, okay.
Sure.
I got it.
Okay.
Board Member Hannah, I make the motion that the board approve the alumni partnership with Erickson Institute on July 11, 2024, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. to be held at Lindop. Can I have a second, please?
I second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
She's got
Oh.
to.
Do you all want
Dr.
to?
Jackson?
Okay, so for the Erickson Institute. So happen to be an Erickson Fellow, but also having a continued relationship with the Erickson Institute, Early Childhood Education. And I did speak with Ms. Alyssa a few days ago, and we've been waiting and wanting to partner with them to do something larger. And so they are requesting or asking if they could host their alumni event here at Lindop on July 11th from 6 until 8 p.m. So super excited about that opportunity. What that will also help us to do is that we will also have access to their alumni and new graduates. So we're super excited about this. So thank you.
Roll call, please.
Board President Hannah.
Yeah.
Vice President Taylor.
Yay.
Secretary Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member Morris.
Yay.
Board Member Williams-Wolford.
Yay.
Thank you. Motion carries. Moving along, board president's report. I have none. Superintendent's report.
Yes, and so thank you so much to the community, the staff, the administrators, Board of Education. Again, as we always say, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And so we're moving towards not being divided. Board Goal 1, student achievement. We had Mr. Lazarick Williams here tonight for his artwork that will be captured in the village, at the village on a t-shirt, and they will also be for sales. And then also our salutatorian is Emiliano Bahena. Next, we had National Principal Week, and so thank you so much for that. And congratulations to Mrs. O. We got a chance to celebrate her for that. Next on student achievement, and so the board goals that we are directed to carry out. And so every month, when I'm reporting on the board goals and how we are actually carrying them out. And so people will be able to see this live and in real time. All right, National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony. And so we had an amazing time last night with that. We see someone's twin right at the front on the stairs there. Excited about this opportunity, and we were certainly excited as well. We just want to make sure or try to do our very best to get more people out for these types of celebrations. We know that we have the community out in full force for our holiday programs and for our Black History programs or et cetera, but we still like to see the same enthusiasm to just rally and support those children who have been inducted into the National Junior Honor Society. Board Goal 4, District Finances, E-rate money. Mr. Elliskew is always looking for something for some more technology, $17,982. Our funding commitment letter, thank you very much. Our spring concert here as well. We are just so thrilled to have Mr. Wood here with us. He was able to show during the spring concert how the children started off when they began practicing and then how they were actually at the concert. And it has just been nothing short of amazing what he has done with our children and very dedicated. Kindergarten celebration. We had an amazing kindergarten celebration. Our children showcase how they are readers and leaders. And this just, we have one who just keeps popping out in my mind. And so as they would go, it's like he would bring in like the encores for everything. And he would say, okay, the end, or Reader's Theater finished, but he was excellent with it. And the parents were excited too, once they were able to see what the kindergarten celebration was truly about. So I'm thankful for you all allowing that. Longevity, we just celebrated. Thank you, Board of Education, Mrs. Kelly for 30 years, Mrs. Stein for 20 years, Mr. Valentine 10. And for 5 years, we have Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Swiss, Ms. Schweiger, Ms. Ortiz, Ms. Cercelli, and Ms. Stewart. So congratulations to everyone, and thank you so much. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving along to committee reports. Personnel Committee meeting, Mr. Hannah, Ms. Griffin, that next meeting date is to be determined. Finance Committee meeting, Ms. Griffin, myself, that next meeting date is to be determined. Pace Governing Board meeting, Mr. Dawson, Mr. Morris, that was held on Wednesday, April 17th, 2024 at 6 p.m. That next meeting date is Wednesday, tomorrow, May 22nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. Is there anything we need to know?
No, wait.
I'm talking about the one from the 17th, Mr. Dawson.
All right, no. Unless Dr. Jackson wants to speak on the fund balance talk.
So the fund balance consideration is still being held by PACE. They did not have a policy to establish a fund balance. Being on the executive board, we were able to talk, and each member district would have to sort of give back their refund that they were going to get. And so that was not an issue. Some districts had more to give. I believe ours was about $4,000, and it ranged all the way up to $72,000. But we also were very aware that PACE cannot exist if they are always just going by the money that we're paying monthly, and that they do need to establish a fund balance. So everyone is really in agreement with that. And so thank you for your work on that committee and on that board, Mr. Dawson. Thank you.
Thank you. Safety SEL Committee meeting, Mr. Morris, Mr. Buchanan, that next meeting date is to be determined. Policy Committee meeting, Mr. Dawson, Ms. Williams-Woodford, that meeting was held Wednesday, May 1st. It's 2024 at 4:30 p.m. That next meeting date is to be determined. Mr. Dawson, Ms. Williams, Wilford, is there anything we need to know?
You adopted what we needed tonight, and we are done till the new year.
Thank you.
Thank you, committee.
Para CIA committee meeting, Mr. Morris, Ms. Taylor, that next meeting date is to be determined. Technology committee meeting, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Buchanan, that was held Monday, May 20th, 2024 at 3:45. That next meeting date is to be determined. Ms. Taylor, Mr. Buchanan, anything we should know?
The only thing to know was what was presented tonight with getting the additional iPads for Freedom School, which we voted on.
Thank you. Strategic Planning Committee meeting, that's all board members. That next meeting date is to be determined. Committee Engagement Committee meeting, Ms. Griffin, Mr. Buchanan, that next meeting date is to be determined. Negotiations Committee meeting, Ms. Griffin, Mr. Hannah, ad hoc, activated when needed, excuse me. Okay, next we have public comment. We have none. Moving along to executive session, I move that the board go into closed session under 5 ILCS 120-2 C 1, 4, 8, and 9 and 10 to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, or performance of specific employees of the public body. Evidence or testimony presented in open hearing or in closed hearing where specifically authorized by law, security procedures, school building safety and security, student disciplinary cases, and the placement of individual students in special education programs and other matters relating to individual students at 7:04 p.m. Can I have a second, please?
Tanya Taylor, second.
Roll call, please.
Board President Hannah, Vice President Taylor.
Yay.
Secretary Griffin.
Yay.
Board Member Buchanan.
Yay.
Board Member Dawson.
Yay.
Board Member Morris. Board Member Morris
Yeah.
and Board Member Williams.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Thank you. It shouldn't have been, it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, this is all I need.